Hi everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, What Cass Read. Today I'm bringing you a video because I was kind of curious. I was looking over my TBR, and my TBR is quite long at this moment. I was wondering what were actually the longest books on my TBR. I tend to read a lot of big books, but I've never actually done like any sort of official tracking of page count or anything like that. So out of curiosity, I wanted to create a list of my top 10 longest books on my TBR, and here we go. The first book that I want to mention, this is Ruin, written by Gwynne. This is book number 3 in the Faithful and the Fallen series, and this comes in at 10th place with a total of 746 pages. This whole series is a story about the banished lands, and there were once great battles that took place between men and giants. The giants are awakening and causing a lot of mayhem and trouble. There's a lot of political intrigue, there's a lot of religious intrigue, and of course some battle scenes. So this is book number 3 in the Faithful and the Fallen series. This is Ruin. The first book is called Malice, and they're written by Gwynne. This book, this is The Hero of Ages. This is written by Sanderson. This comes in at 9th place with a total of 748 pages. So just 2 pages longer than our Gwynne novel. So this is book number 3 of the Mistborn trilogy. The Mistborn trilogy follows this world where the Dark Lord has reigned for 1,000 years. I know that their magic system is really crazy. I haven't read it yet, obviously, because it's on my TBR. But you'll see another book in the series in this list as well. And I actually do plan on beginning the Mistborn series very soon. And so then I will be more versed in what I'm talking about when it comes to the Sanderson novels. So again, this is Hero of Ages. This book, this is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. This is written by J.K. Rowling, book number 7 in the Harry Potter series. I have purchased my new paperback versions that I got for my birthday this year, so this is really fun and exciting for me to be holding it up. This comes in at 8th place with 759 pages. You're wondering why this is on my TBR, because yes, I have read this book, but I'm planning on doing a reread of all the 7 Harry Potter novels later on in the year once I finish up my Around the World in 1,000 Pages book club. So that's why it's on my TBR. Harry has to fight the Dark Lord. That's what you need to know about book number 7. This book I recently featured in a video that I did this week. Which one was it? This was my totally should have book tag. So this is The Red Knight, written by Miles Cameron. This is book number 1 in the Traitor Sun cycle. And this book is about a group of mercenaries who are tasked with protecting a nunnery, and this nunnery is on the edge of the wilds, and the wilds have all sorts of creatures and things like that, dragons I'm assuming. It's an insanely gritty series, and it has really great battle scenes. Like, if you are someone who loves battle scenes, you'll love this one. This is again another very dense fantasy novel, fantasy series, multiple person POV, but those are the kinds of fantasy books that I like. So this one comes in at 7th place, and this is 766 pages. Here we have book number 2 of the Mistborn series. This is The Well of Ascension, written by Sanderson. This comes in at 6th place with 781 pages. I promise I know how to make lists without including a Robin Hobb book, but honestly, why would I want to do that? This book comes in at 5th place. This is Fool's Fate, written by Robin Hobb. This is book number 3 of the Tawny Man trilogy. This is the next trilogy in her Realm of the Elderlings that I have yet to read, and I am so pumped. I cannot wait to begin this series. This is where we are finally reunited with Fitz and the Fool. Fitz, our main character from the trilogy number 1, the Farseer trilogy. He is a middle-aged man at this point. He is living in a self-imposed exile, and people from his past have begun calling on him for his services once more. So this is the final book in that trilogy. I've heard nothing but great things about this book. 2 of my favorite fantasy YouTubers, Sam from Sam's Nonsense, Caitlin from Kitty G Books, say that this is one of their favorite books of all time, if not the favorite book of all time for them, so I cannot wait. That's such high praise, especially for fellow Robin Hobb fanatics like myself. So this comes in 5th place with 805 pages. I think this is my last book of duplicate series books. So this is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, also written by J.K. Rowling. This book, let's say, what's a 1-sentence description of HP in the Order of the Phoenix? Harry Potter learns that there's a secret resistance to fight the Dark Lord. Book number 5. This comes in at 4th place with 850 pages. Now we're getting into some real chunkers here. This is The Wall of Storms, written by Ken Liu. This is book number 2 in the Dandelion Dynasty series. So this is the 2nd book sequel to The Grace of Kings. This is epic fantasy that combines both Eastern and Western influences, and that's all I need to know about it. I do know that, again, Kitty G, Caitlin, has proclaimed that this was her favorite book of 2017. So there's a lot to look forward in here, a lot to dissect, a lot to unpackage from all of Ken Liu's works, and so I cannot wait to begin. The first book, like I said, is The Grace of Kings. So this comes in at 3rd place with a total of 852 pages. You had to know at some point that this book was going to come up. This is Patrick Rothfuss's The Wise Man's Fear. This is book number 2 in the Kingkiller Chronicles. This is the sequel to The Name of the Wind. The Name of the Wind being my favorite book that I read in 2017. This comes in at 1,000 pages even, and this is the book that I'm currently reading. I am on page 300 and something, so I'm really not even close. I'm really not even close. There's like a whole nother one of these books still sandwiched into this book that I have to read, but I'm slowly but surely making my way through it. So this is book number 2. Like I said, we follow Quoth on his storytelling journey, telling the story of his life. We follow him from his young teenagehood through young adulthood, young middle adulthood. I'm not entirely sure when when he's gonna put the break in his story. We're also learning more about the evil forces in the world that are not related to mankind, but perhaps something more mystical and sinister. And so we're uncovering and unpackaging the mystery of the Chandrian. So I cannot wait till we continue. This is also probably the last book that I'll be able to read for February, hosted by Book Life SJ, Sarah Jane. Yeah, I thought I could get more Fae books in, but seeing as how this is 1,000 pages, I could see why I might not be able to fit any more in, but we'll see how fast I'm able to finish this book up for the month of February. So this is The Wise Man's Fear, written by Patrick Rothfuss, and this is 1,000 pages. So I'm sure plenty of you are wondering what book is on my TBR that is longer than The Wise Man's Fear. We have my first place book, the longest book on my TBR, my current TBR, not future TBR, not TBR from the past, not the longest book on my shelf, but the current longest book on my TBR. This is The Count of Monte Cristo, written by Alexandre Dumas. This comes in at 1,055 pages. So this is definitely the longest book on my TBR. I plan on attacking this book closer to the end of the year. I wanted to read this, savor this for like a fall read. This is The Ultimate Tale of Revenge. This is one of the classics that I wanted to tackle in the year 2018. I wanted to read at least 5 classics. I've been very, very fantasy focused. I love fantasy. That is always going to be my main genre on this channel, but I did want to dabble in a few classics, so this is definitely the longest book on my TBR for this year. This is The Count of Monte Cristo, written by Alexandre Dumas. So there we have it, the 10 longest books on my TBR. I hope you enjoyed them. If you saw any of your favorites on that list, please put them in the comment section below and tell me why you loved them. Or tell me what is the longest book on your TBR. Go ahead and search. I'd love to know how long are the books that you're reading. So you can see that a lot of my books ended up being 700 pages plus, and that's the nature of the beast when you're a fantasy lover like myself. These books are gigantic, but those are the kinds of books that I like to read. Those are what really gets me going when it comes to reading all these fantasy books. So I can't wait to tackle them, even though there's a ton of pages right there, but I'm super excited. So anyways, find me on my social media if you'd like to continue this conversation. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. It's @WhatCastRed, the same as this channel, all one word, so it's super easy to find. And of course, you can always find me on Goodreads. That link will always be down below. You know how these videos end. Talk to you later.